Hi everyone, welcome to Performance Drive's second point of view car review. We've got a lot of positive feedback from the first attempt, so we'll try and do a lot more of them and we'll improve the quality along the way as well. As you can probably see, sitting over there in the corner, we've got the 2014-2015 Volkswagen Mk7 Golf R back. We've already reviewed this car and done our usual 0 to 100 video, but it's been a very popular review for us, so we thought we'd give it another test. In Golf GTI tradition, the Golf R doesn't scream out, "I'm a performance car." I mean, it's got the 19-inch polished face alloy wheels, but aside from that, it looks like a normal Golf that's just got a styling option package on it. So you've got the front little spoiler there, black grills. It's not until you take a look a bit deeper that you see the evidence that this is a performance car. So the front intake there has actually got a little cooler behind it, an intercooler or something, and it's got another one on the other side as well. So these are normally just blocked in on standard cars, but on this they're actually sucking in air and making the car go faster. So you can also see the silver mirrors, just a neat little side skirt down the side. And then round at the back, it's where it hammers home that this is a high-end car. It's got the traditional quad outlet exhaust with the chunky diffuser underneath. But you probably can't see it in pictures, but it's a small little muscly car in the flesh. It sits quite low as well, which you probably can't see in pictures. So you've also got the R performance brakes poking through there, and the little R badge on the side. And then under the bonnet we've got the familiar 2-litre EA888 4-cylinder turbo engine. It's been heavily tuned by Volkswagen for the Golf R, so it's the same engine as the Golf GTI and various Audi vehicles, but it's been heavily tuned for this. It's got new valves, new valve springs, a modified head, and it runs with a bigger turbocharger, K04 for all the turbo geeks out there. It's running up to 27.5 PSI, which is a serious amount of boost for a production car. Peak power is 206 kilowatts, and then peak torque is 380 Newton meters. Let's see what it sounds like. So it's just a push button start. And straight away you can tell that this is not your average Golf. It's got a real bassy exhaust note even on idle. And then it redlines at about 3,500 when it's in park. So like the exterior, the interior is subtle, but it's got a few hints that this is not your average Golf. So the cabin is a little bit smaller compared with the GTI. The cabin dimensions are exactly the same, but just the big bucket seats take up a bit of room, and then because this has got four-wheel drive, the drive shaft obviously has to run through the middle, and then it has a differential at the back. We'll just check out the back seat. So it's a bit more confined in here than a normal GTI. You've got the transmission tunnel in the middle there, which does take up some room for the middle passenger. But you can still put sort of 5 adults in here as long as the middle one's happy to be a bit squashy. But headroom is good, and legroom is okay for I've got my seat forward a fair bit because I'm fairly short, but the passenger seat's just in an average position. There's a bit of room there, but it's not ideal, but it's at the same time it's not completely useless. So boot space is also sacrificed because of the four-wheel drive system. So the normal GTI's got 380 litres, whereas this has got 340. It's still totally usable. And then you've got the space saver spare underneath. So let's take it for a drive. So before you set off, you've got a few different driving modes to choose from. You've got comfort, normal, race, eco. Then you've got an individual mode which you can sort of personalise. So you can put the steering into comfort, say, and then you can put the engine into sport. So it's got a bit more response. So they do make a difference. We tend to like the different driving modes because it makes the car more versatile than just a one car. It sort of turns it into multiple cars. So we'll go ahead and put it into normal just for our first little drive. Electric handbrake. So this has got paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. It's got a nice little sport steering wheel, a flat bottom. But sitting inside, there's no sacrifices that you have to make because this is a sports car. It's still a Golf and it's still excellent in that respect. Vision is good. It's got these little triangle windows which don't really do anything. You can't really look through them, but the pillars themselves are quite thin and you can see around you very well. So at the moment I've got it in D, which changes gear all by itself. Everything's normal and changes down gears by itself. And then you can pull it back or forward and it will go into S mode, which still changes gear itself, but it will blip the throttle and change down gears a bit more aggressively. And it holds the revs as well right up to sort of beyond 6,000 RPM. And then to get it into manual mode, you just flick it across and you just see the gear number that you've got it in, and that's when you know that you're in manual mode and you have to change gear yourself. So you're probably wondering, how does 27 psi of boost translate in a production hatch with a 2-litre engine? Volkswagen engineers have managed to offer you 380 newton meters of torque, which is already a serious amount of torque, available from 1800 RPM all the way to 5100 RPM, which is pretty much where the peak power comes in. So you get a very linear power delivery. There's no turbo lag. I mean, there might be a little bit below sort of 1,500, but if you're trundling along at 1,500 and expect instant throttle response, then you should probably buy a Tesla or an electric car. And you've always got to love that bassy thud as it changes gear. The four-wheel drive system uses a Haldex differential and then locking differentials at the front and the back. So you're never going to get any slip, you're never going to run out of grip. That means it's good for a road like this, but also if you're going down to the snow or something like that, you've got plenty of grip to pull you through. Try it in race mode, so you can just push the button or you can touch the screen. So straight away you don't notice any major difference in power or anything like that. It's just the steering becomes a bit stiffer and the throttle is a bit more sensitive. Yeah, the grip is just completely relentless. That's a pretty sharp corner there, and I pretty much had it flat to the floor, and it won't. Surprisingly, it doesn't want to push understeer or anything like that. It'll just work out which wheel has the most traction and deliver power accordingly, just to rip it around the corner. And you really can pull some high G-forces around the corners. DSG, it's just lightning. It just works in perfect synergy with the engine and the aggression of the car. So going back down, we'll turn the stability controls off. It doesn't really make any difference. I think you've got to hold it down for a couple of seconds. Yep. But it doesn't make any difference anyway. It's not going to run out of grip. It doesn't actually intervene until you really push it. So this is one of our favourite cars because it's just so confident and well sorted, and anybody can drive it really quickly and not run into trouble. The brakes are good as well. We've been down here a couple of times and there's no fading or slackening of pedal feel. It pulls up time and time again really well. As you can hear, the engine sounds awesome. It sounds like a little rally car. It's from the outside you get that distinct DSG thud, and you just can't get enough of it. It's just, and I think that makes a big part of the buying decision of, you know, picking a car. If it sounds really good and it stirs the senses, then that's all the better, and this car certainly does that. So I've got it in 4th gear now, and the revs are 2,000, 2,500, 2,000 now. I'll just floor it. So it picks up pretty well, and that's going up a hill as well. Then yeah, as soon as you've got it above sort of 3,000 RPM, it's just lightning. Thanks for watching. We'll keep doing them. If you've got any feedback or any pointers, do let us know in the comments section below. We're always open to feedback.